All right, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, and Arkel will be joining us shortly. So this should be a very, very interesting session. We're having Arkel Anugwom, who's a young athlete, and he'll be sharing his experience so far in his sporting endeavor. All right, great, great. Welcome, Arkel. It's good to have you. Apologies for the for the challenges, technical glitch, and yeah.
Mhm.
So you are finally here, and we know how busy your schedule's been. So yeah, just go ahead, tell us a little about yourself.
Yes, I'm a student athlete right now. I play football for the University of Northwestern. So I've had the opportunities to play for different colleges around. So it's been an exciting journey, honestly. So yeah,
Okay, awesome. Thank you for agreeing to do this again. And American football. Tell us why it's so. Nigerians are known more for playing soccer,
soccer, yeah,
basketball. Yeah.
basketball,
So
yeah.
what changed? What made you pivot to American football?
Actually, it's for me, it was actually the my position itself. So
Okay.
I was coming in as 180 pounds, slanky guy. Of course, I wanted to be a basketball player, and I was asking about football because I wanted to get bigger, more muscular. So I always see these guys. They were always training in high school, and I'm like, wow, okay. Um, I would love to get bigger, right?
Yeah.
So I decided to join to just look at everything. And I had a coach then. His name is Coach Arnold, and he was trying to get me to play football. And of course, because of the whole me being a Nigerian, there's a bad eye looked at football coming from Nigeria. So like it was an experience to be able to now get into it. And so after I've gotten into it, I started lifting, and what made me stay to actually play football was the position itself. So I decided to choose being an offensive lineman, whereby what we do is we basically protect the quarterback, and it gave me a perspective because it's one of the only sports whereby I'm protecting someone else, and I get to protect somebody. We call it protecting the money, of the team. So we get to protect somebody, so for the entirety of the team, and that was something that like I felt was so valuable, not just as a football player, but as a man in a society. So that was one thing that gave me such an attraction to football because of how it's such a team sport in such a sense. And that position alone depicts that.
Oh, nice. Wonderful. Okay. I never really looked at it that way. I just know there's a quarterback and there are this other position. So your key
Yeah.
role, that's the role you play is to protect the quarterback. That's
hmm
really insightful. Thank you. All right. So to kick us off, yeah, um, what has being an athlete in the United States been like in its entirety? What has that journey been like? You did say you wanted to. You obviously tried all the sports. You said you wanted basketball, and was there soccer somewhere in the mix?
Yes, I mean, oh my goodness, I was playing soccer, basketball.
Wow.
I was trying to do track.
Oh,
Yeah, I was like, nah. Should I do track? Should I do track? I was trying to get into it, but some of the schedules were clashing. So
okay.
yeah, I was trying to do, but basketball was my major goal in whatever spot I wanted to play basketball. Until I came across football, but me just being an athlete, it's it's a I would say it's more of a marathon. It's like I would say it's a continuous sprint. It's a continuous sprint, but it's an actual marathon. So it's like you're just here each and every day. You're doing your best. You're going at it every single day, and it's like a sprint without the distance being unknown. The
Then
distance is
so
unknown, and you just got to keep on attacking it head on. And that's something I learned as an athlete, and that's something I embody myself as an athlete. Being able to keep on attacking each day consistently
mm,
with high intensity.
oh, great, great. Thanks, thank you. So another question: what is did some experience in Africa shape the way you approach sports? Are you approaching it differently from your peers? Is there some different style to how you train, how you practice? What has shaped your sporting life in its general nature?
Oh, oh yeah, that's a great question. Of course, environment plays a huge role. I feel like us, like me coming from a the home I came from, Nigeria. There's this humility that comes in, whereby I could be in an environment. People would legit see that environment as, this is the down of the down. But
Yeah,
I've seen the down of the down. So I'm like,
yeah,
oh yeah, like this is. It made me appreciate things that other people would say is lower, but to me it's high. And
mm,
I was able to appreciate the lows, and I was able to appreciate the highs whenever it came. So that's something that, like, it shaped my sporting life, whereby each day I work, I'm working with an excitement, because
mm,
not a lot of people get to do that.
yeah.
Not a lot of people get to do what I'm.
Opportunity. Great, great. That's I never thought of it that way. Great. So it's each day, yeah, each experience. You're blessed to have that experience. Not everyone has a feel of what you're experiencing now. So
Yeah.
yeah. So when did you first realize that talent alone wouldn't be enough for your for what you had set out to achieve?
Yeah, so that's a beautiful question, because um so I'm just gonna use this. There was so me coming in from
Hmm.
America. I'm from Nigeria. I mean, I was like new to everything. It was kind of like a cultural shock.
Yeah.
So as I went to college, Ball State football, to play, of course, the sport, I had to add a lot of weight. And as I
Mm,
was adding a lot of weight, coming from high school, I was already the guy, because I was just using my size to bully people. Then
yeah.
I got to Ball State, and I'm seeing people that are just my size and bigger, and they're stronger and they're faster. And I was like, oh my goodness, it was so hard for me to keep up. I was struggling. And then of course you hit that valley. It's like, man, like it's not easy to keep up with these guys. And all of a sudden, I started building myself up and trying to get better each day. And I just took it as a staircase. It's just one step at a time to get to the top. So that's exactly what I did. And that was something that kind of opened my eyes to seeing that, number one, that levels to stuff. But number two is that, like, talent only gets you so far, and the rest of the way is just work and being resilient in your task, being able to compete against some of the best people. And that's exactly what my goal is in football, is to be able to go out there and play the best of the best, because that's all there is. That's what makes the sport valuable itself.
Interesting. Interesting. That's so you pretty much have dabbled into the next question. However, I know there's a lot of unpacking, so you could still share some bit of insight. So, what is a growth mindset? What has it meant to you in the past couple of years? Yeah, you did say you got to college, met all this amazing people who, I mean, first off, I didn't really think you could bulk up and be fast. So you're saying you can actually bulk up and work on your cardio and be really fast. So what
Be
was that
really fast.
experience like? If you had
Yeah.
to
So
unpack it? Yeah.
so it was that. It was there's a phrase. There's an actual, like, phrase that has been said. It's kind of like a quote from one of my coaches. He said, like, why me? instead of why me, it should be what can I learn from this, you know?
Mm.
So it's like that's the mindset I choose every single time. And for me to even be able to try and bulk up, me before that I was lanky and I was always getting moved around a lot, you know, and I wasn't the fastest. I was not being able to move good, you know, and of course you most guys that hit that value would then buy, you know, like concave and just, you know, let the environmental play in, you know. But that's when you have to ask the question that, okay, so what could I learn from this and how could I improve? And that's this growth mindset I use for everything because it's important to be able to improve each day. And you being able to do your best each day and improve is what makes the growth mindset because you're taking it one step at a
At the
time,
time.
you know. Yeah, so because most times we look at the bigger picture, we look at the picture so big and we don't end up understanding the little things. It's kind of like there's the elephant in the room, and most guys having you have to touch one part of the elephant, another guy touch another part of the elephant, you know, and they're like, oh my god, like what is this, what animal is this, you know. And once everybody come together, they're able to now say, okay, yeah, this is an elephant. You know, once everybody give their own information,
Yeah. Yeah.
how I prioritize that into my growth mindset is me being able, number one, being able to understand the entirety of the problem, and number two, being able to understand what the solution could be, and then finding the solution of what the problem is, and using that step at one step at a time is genuinely how I get a great growth mindset because then failure does not exist. It's all just a learning curve.
Great. 100%. I totally agree with you. All right. So, yeah, and the whole failure doesn't exist really. It's just unpacking and learning as you go along the journey. So, what has that journey been like? Has there been, eh, obviously, there have been tough situations. Would you want to walk us through what it's been like? What are those tough decisions being a young athlete that perhaps has tried to force you through another path? Or what has making choices been like for you?
Yeah, I mean, there's been so many choices that have been made so far. I mean, from the portal to me even choosing basketball, football over basketball. You know, I would genuinely want to go through the football because football to basketball event because it took me a while. I was, you know, I was coming in to play basketball, and from the mindset I already had about football and everything, it was like, oh my god, I don't want to do nothing else but play basketball, you know, and be a student athlete. Uh, but then moving on from that and being able to now choose football was extremely hard, especially me having the opportunity to play in the next level for both. It was not easy, and that was a decision that, of course, it took um, from God, my family, you know, and close people that could be able to give me advices on what was best for me. And at the end of the day is my gut, you know, choosing something that I would see that would favor me, and most importantly, my gut would always have that feeling of, okay, this is the right option, you know, just choose it. I mean, just following my gut, and I've not been disappointed so far.
Super. Great, great. So, and another really interesting questions. I know the questions are coming quick and fast, and hitting
Oh,
you
I
right off
love
the
it. I
bat.
love it. I
Great.
love it.
I love that you love it. All right. So, how have you? I've got. I typically ask this question to all of our guests. How have you stayed disciplined? Have you stayed? Because I know motivation can only take you thus far, maybe
Hmm.
perhaps getting started. But how do you stay consistent? How do you stay disciplined even on days when you really don't feel like it?
Oh, that's a great question. And of course, we're all human. We all struggle with
Hmm.
it. Sometimes I struggle with it here and there.
Yeah.
But one thing I genuinely see as the most important thing is routines. routines. Routines are a structural checkpoints that we could use to be able to get our daily task or stuff right. So, for instance, whenever I was coming up, at Ball State, I was struggling with my like how to get my routines right. So the major stuff I had was okay. I'm just going to number one, get do the little things right. So the little things from starting up, waking up in the morning, being able to brush my teeth, being able to do this, being able to do that, and doing those little things perfectly, and then going out to the day. And even though it's a bad cold day, I know that I've already done the little things right. And those little achievements were able to now push me to be able to do greater things. So most importantly, I feel like discipline is much more consistent. So there's no valley, there's no mountains. It's all just straight consistency. And I don't like to rely on motivation because motivation dies down.
Yeah.
And I believe that being how to have great discipline is by having great routine. Great routine in everything you do, from the little things to the massive things. And that's one thing I genuinely would always say has each time I'm advising people on how to be able to be disciplined is all by just doing routines. Because then the routines form to habits. And those habits create what we see as discipline.
That's awesome. Awesome. I really haven't heard it from the perspective you have just shared. I'm going to just dive out a bit. Could you just walk us through what your daily routine, just typical routine? I know you've just mentioned the little things. How do you stack them up? I've got this buddy over here who's his mantra for each day is stacking the days. So how do you stack your days, or how do you stack your hours? So routine, do you start off, take for instance, right? Do you have an alarm setup? Do you just walk us through what your typical day is like?
So it all depends on the off season, on season, right?
Oh, okay.
So based on for instance, now we're in the off season. So for instance, our workout to start based on what time your workouts are, it could be like 6. So that
Okay.
means you got to wake up by like 5, 4:30.
Yeah, early.
At that point, yours starts from the day before, how you sleep, right, and
Mm,
everything. So once you wake up, everybody has that feeling of, oh my god, it's 4:30. I'm going out there, and I genuinely just want to lay down on this bed, cozy up, and just wrap myself
yeah,
up in a blanket. So then my number one is to be able to try and get up as quick as possible. And me being able to get up as quick as possible, and then the next stuff is to try and go take a nice piss. Just try and get that quick, right?
yeah,
Even though I don't want to, just me doing that is already a routine that I've already set.
mm,
So me doing that, and then doing the little things, the care stuff, and then getting in the car and driving to the facility. Of course, then get that done, go to workouts, finish my workouts. Now we're already stacking a bunch of progress while
yeah,
we're doing this. So then after my workouts, then I have to eat. I make sure I make a conscious effort to eat. And even though sometimes because of classes, I would have to run out, I
yeah,
would have to find something to eat. And then I always have snacks in my bags because I have to maintain my weight. So I always prioritize eating my snacks. And sometimes I would be full. I wouldn't want to eat my snacks. But then I prioritize doing that. So those little things in my head, sometimes I might not even notice it, but it's just like, oh, victory,
yeah,
victory, victory. And I'm just keep on doing that. And then of course after I'm done with class, it's probably about like 4. And then I watch film and do some recovery, and go out, maybe get some extra work in, here and there. Well, then I prioritize watching the film from what happened earlier on,
okay,
at the beginning of the day, from practice and stuff. So then afterwards, after I'm done with that, by I get my last dinner, my last food for the day, and then I have to watch my NFL film, see stuff that I could learn from that. And afterwards, then I could now decide to chill and have my nice time. And that's around by like maybe around like 8 9,
Okay.
and by 9:30 ish, I'm off to bed. So around those times, I don't accept no phone calls, no nothing. It's kind of like a nice down moment,
Yeah.
it's time that I used to refresh myself. It's the only time I have for my day. So it's like that's how I that's how my whole day goes. And sometimes because of how discipline is extremely boring. But here and there, you could add a bit of splash to it, have a bit of
Yeah.
fun, and that makes it fun at least. And soon you wouldn't even notice that you're
Mhm.
that this was fun. It's just your way of life now. And that's how I see it. Like discipline builds culture, and that culture is what I intend on having every single
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you very much. So another quick question. So what's that experience that has taught you resilience? Have you so a couple of our previous guests perhaps have shared perhaps time when they got injured. Um, but that um what is what is that experience for you? Something that has taught you resilience even amidst maybe training, getting hurt? What has taught you the most to keep going, to fall down 7 times, get up eight? What is yeah, just go ahead and share.
Oh yeah, so like resilience is a huge role to build toughness, and in my progress of playing football, I've not had the longest of football careers. So I always have to be able to understand that failure is just a concept that we give ourselves. Because the truth is just a learning curve. And that was something that was hard to sink in. And once I knew that failure was all just in my mind, it
Mm,
was easy to be resilient. So then whenever I do bad in practice, I could be able to go the next day and do it again. Learn from it, do it again. Learn from it, do it again. And that just builds toughness over time. And that happening was what helped with my resilience. I just that days that are really rough. I mean the that times, there are seasons that are really rough.
mhm,
But at the end of the day, being able to keep on attacking each day was was what was important.
mm.
And I believe that resilience actually builds onto discipline. And then discipline builds onto routines. So if I didn't have my routines, the little things, I would not be able to be resilient.
100%. I totally agree with you. So let's talk pressure. I know how a lot of times we bulk under pressure. So what has it been like uh, playing the pressure, playing with pressure, playing in a very big. I'm not. I don't know what it's like, but I've had interactions with young athletes who bulk under pressure they put on themselves, pressure perhaps put by their little community, parents, and yeah, pressure on game day. So what has that been like for you? How do you surmount
Oh yeah,
those? Yeah.
yeah, like that's you're 100% correct. And one thing like I learned is that was actually from Bama was pressure is actually trained. You could train yourself to be better at handling pressure. So things that preparation and mindset are the number one control of how much pressure you're going to feel, you know because expectations are only one thing. They're all like, okay, I expect to do good. But if your preparation does not hold on to that, then the pressure hits. I personally would internalize pressure. So the pressure from the crowd and the noise. I call it the
Mm.
noise. I try to move away from that. I try to not keep that in my head at all.
Okay.
Flush it out. But then the actual stuff that are going into inwards, I'm feeling nervous about something. I'm not I'm not feeling I'm kind of feeling anxious about this game. Those to me are signals, and those signals are lack of preparation. And if I'm feeling that way, it means I didn't prepare enough, and I have to prepare more. So my each day I attack the week is in fear of me being anxious, that I don't get anxious again, because so that's why I try to attack my workouts, my training as much as possible, so that whenever my name is called, I don't feel pressure or feel tense or anything like that, because I know that I'm prepared for the moment.
Mm. Awesome. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm sure a lot of our viewers would learn from that insight. Thank you very much. So, as a young athlete, how much or what roles do coaches, mentors, um, at this point, do you have an agent, like
Mhm.
agents, family? How much role do they play in you becoming that total player or total
Yeah, so
athlete?
that's a great question, because number one, family is a great tool for being grounded. There's a fallback option, because sometimes whenever the falls are bad, the falls sometimes get really, really bad. And
Mm.
there's always some people need an anchor, someone to keep them grounded, something to hold them. Family plays a huge role in that. And coaches have a job. They here there's their job. They're trying to help that family out. So in order for them to try and win games, to be able to win games, they have to apply pressure to the players,
Mm.
just as the previous question. So they try to make practice itself more tense, more pressure than the actual game. So that once the game comes in, it's all easy. It's
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, I'm used to the pressure. I'm used to everything. Because practice is worse. And mentors and everybody else's job is just to make you the best you, and maybe being able to understand that as a player, being able to understand that, okay, everybody here is that all that goal is to make me the best player I could be. That helped me to be grounded, and that played a huge role in my day-to-day training. So everybody has a their own independent role, but it's all collective to how to make Arkel the best Arkel he could be.
Awesome. Great. Great. That's really a good way to put it. Everything works together
Hmm.
for in its entirety for your own good to keep you focused as well.
Yeah.
I really like where you pointed out, and I'm gonna definitely take this, making practice as um, well, the word wasn't difficult, but making practice really um, tensed, and in that way it prepares you for the game, so you don't feel any pressures at all. That's a very very good insight. So yeah, I've known you for a couple of years, and I know that Akel is a humble young man, because you used to be a young boy, but you're evolving into a great young man. So what has helped you balance that confidence, your humility, and while still believing in yourself?
Yes. So I always say this because that's something that I get a lot. That's such a great question. I get that a lot all the time. Um, is that my reply always is that confidence comes from preparation, but humility comes from the ability to say that I could learn more.
Mm.
And I use that in my day to day, because most times as a football player, you have to be confident, right? But you also have to be humble in the aspect that, okay, so this is a great example. So in football, right, of course, we have our coaches, right?
Yeah.
You are lined up to a man that my job is to move this man as much as possible against his will. That's something that is beautiful to us, because we're like, okay, yes, we get to move another man. So Now, us attacking that guy, we have to be confident in our abilities to do so. So once we do that, we've done that. We've been able to be confident. We've attacked this guy. We've moved in. We're able to make a great play, right? Now your coach comes in and says, "Hey, your hand placement was not right."
Mm,
But in your mind, you're like, "Oh my God, I just moved this man how many yards away, right?" And you're saying that my hand placement is not right. Of course, then your pride and ego sets in. It's like, oh no, like I've I just did my job and you're correcting me on something. When every game comes, the the everything reduces to a certain level, I would say. And then if you're not able to be humble enough to get coaching, to be able to learn from the mistakes, the little mistakes, even though it didn't affect that one play, over time it would. So being able to learn from those little things and being humble enough to keep your head down and just work, right? And be able to practicalize it in your head that, okay, I made a mistake. I could be able to fix it, right? And also being confident enough to go line up next play, fix the stuff that you didn't learn before, and be confident enough to achieve that. That's being able to balance confidence and humility. And that's what I use day to day.
great.
I actually got it from Ty Simpson.
Oh,
Ty Simpson was a huge role. He's the key. He was such a great guy, and me watching him day to day, even Caden Proctor too. Those guys were they're extremely confident, but they're extremely humble to taking
humble
corrections.
individual.
And me looking at that as a guy, and I'm seeing these guys that are probably going to be first round picks in the NFL this year, and seeing them being humble, so humble enough to be able to take corrections. I mean, I'm like, like
Yeah,
that's something that I've seen and I've learned.
you want to adapt into your
Hmm.
routine as well. Awesome. So I just to make this clear, I mean, you talked about films. So for our viewers who are not particularly clear, he doesn't mean a movie. He means watching um, a typical gameplay so that he
Yeah.
can learn from it. So how much? I'm just gonna spin this out of my head. How much of watching role plays or watching films
Hmm.
gets you better at what you do? Because it's not all about just going through training. Um, obviously, so for one, I understand that what you take in, what you watch, you do. It, I mean, I'm a Christian, so I'm just gonna say it. So the Holy Book does say is guard your heart, because out of it comes negativity. So it also speaks about what you stay fixated on. So how much of watching films, routine films, American football games, how much has that helped you? And what
Yes.
do you
So
kind of visualize? Do you pause, like see yourself playing that role, or just visualize how you do things and kind of just adjust? Do those films help?
yes. So that's a great question. And one thing I see is that of course there are two films that we could watch. We could watch ourselves,
Okay.
right? And we could watch an NFL guy, a professional that does this.
Yeah.
And how I watch my film, it's I number one, watching myself, I'm trying to see my mistakes. Because most times you don't feel the mistakes because of the intensity. Things happen like that. We only have about for a long play in football, a very long play is only less than 5 seconds. It's about
Yeah.
4 seconds.
Really?
And that's the longest of plays that we could have.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's like
For a second.
you can't to feel what you did wrong in 5 seconds or less is kind of hard, except if you you attack it and you messed up so bad that you could feel it. But most of the time, the little things, because remember, I always look at the little things because I believe those would solve the bigger things. I have to watch film and be so correctful whenever I'm watching my film and see what I could do to fix them. So that's when I get the extra work in because I've watched those films. Now, the NFL part is to see what they do that makes them so special. What could I get to my game? What could I attack that I see that I like a lot, that I believe that will be influential in my game. Those things I get, and I attack those. I collect those and I use them. Um, Also, I also look at my teammates' film, everybody's film. I watch and also just football in general, just watch football to understand how the game works and see it from just not the entertainment point of view, but to actually see what is going on, what calls are being made, what little things are being made, what formation the defense is coming in, just little things. Are the things I look at. And those little things help my game a lot in the sense of me, number one, increasing my football IQ. And number two, being able to fully understand, like fully add onto my game, add onto my bag, of being because an offensive lineman is a very skilled position, whereby like you have is such a skilled position that like a lot of guys have found out ways to get better at it. And if I don't watch film to see those guys do it,
So yeah,
I would not be able to add it to my bag.
yeah.
And that's exactly how I look at my film.
Oh, okay. Fantastic, great, great. Thanks for sharing that insight. I would eventually tell you how this session came about. Yeah, let's just keep going at the moment. So, looking back, what's one habit or mindset shift that has made the biggest difference in your growth so far?
I feel like the number one habit is because habit itself is a consistency. It's not just I would say it's another word for consistency. And I would say consistency over intensity, but your aim is not to reduce the intensity so that you can be consistent. So you have to be as consistent as possible without just aiming to be intense. Because if you are, you're going to have a lot of highs and a lot of lows. So we're aiming to be as linear as possible, as someone that is just so consistent. And that's extremely hard, especially being a football player. So think about it this way, right? I'm an offensive lineman. If I make one mistake, right, the guy that is on my back, which is my QB, is
Yeah,
gets hit, gets injured. I can't. Let's say worst situation, can't play football anymore. That's not good. It's the team's money. Our job is to be as consistent as possible in protecting that guy. And if I'm not consistent in my job, the coaches won't be able to trust me in being able to do so. I might be intense. I might be the guy that will come off the ball, boom, hit the guy and do a bunch of stuff. But then when bunch of plays are messing up and I'm messing up and I'm messing up, and then they're like, oh wait, what are we seeing here? Are we seeing the guy? We've seen such a high guy and now we're seeing such a low guy. Those things play a huge role. So being consistent is the number one way for me. I believe is the best mindset to have. Being as consistent as possible.
awesome. Staying bringing your A game always, so that
Always,
you get
yes.
the job done. So great
Hmm.
again to get all these insights. We're really appreciative. So for I'm just gonna so this would be question where other young athletes or aspiring young athletes can learn from you. So for young athletes watching or listening at the moment, what do you wish someone had told you earlier about this journey?
I would say progress isn't linear. You know, it's not a straight path. Most of the time, actually, most of the time, I mean, a lot of the time, you would not see your progress right away. And that's where your built-in resiliency is formed, whereby you could be able to say, okay, I've not seen my progress yet, but I could keep on attacking. How I say it all the time to everybody I know is aim to be a bamboo tree. You know,
Mm.
keep on harping on the water, keep on putting water in, and one day you would see your growth just happen all of a sudden, you know. So I say progress is not linear, and being able to keep on attacking each day with the same intensity and being consistent in your work and understanding the routines play a huge role, the little things play a huge role, and just keep on attacking those minor stuff each and every day would play a huge role in being able to progress. But remember that it's not linear. You know, it's it moves. I'll tell you that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's a really really insightful um, point you've shared. So not only that it's not linear. It's not so progress isn't same for everybody as well. So as
Yes.
young athletes, just give yourself time to
Mm-hmm.
just put in the work, and you would definitely see those results. Just stay
Mm-hmm.
consistent. So this will be is so this question, yeah, had to I literally had to think it back and forth. So on your workout routine, because the weather currently, it's the cold season,
Yeah.
it's winter
It's
season.
it's it's
Yeah.
snowing right now.
Wow. So how working outside is a no-no at the moment, but if it were summer, um, where what's your workout style? Do you work out outdoors? Do you guys you play outdoors, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
So do you work out
So,
outdoors and indoors, or what would be your preference?
man, I would choose like some people would say like outdoor, you know, because there's the wind and everything. I mean, to me, anyone is fine. I like both a lot. And I also use both. Indoor is preferred, you know, based on the summer or winter time.
Yeah,
But sometimes it does get like really hot in the indoor sometimes.
yeah.
So yeah, like I always say like because I ask this question, you know, like what is really the science behind it? Why are we switching, you know, the stuff? And I was so excited whenever I was asked this question, and it's like, um, because number one, so the gym builds structure and strength, right? Is the typical point of the gym, like just building yourself, getting bigger, getting stronger, right? Now, being able to go outdoor builds a lot of little things. The adaptability is number one, but most importantly, the mental toughness. So think about you being in the summer, right? It's hot, hot. You know what? Just fall camp is really hot, right? And you have to wear a shoulder pad that is around, I don't know, maybe like 5 pounds, 10 pounds, covered up. Your whole body's covered up, right?
Yeah.
And you're going there in the sun and you just attacking and trying to move another man that's trying to push you in. And you're trying to move another man forward, you know? Doing that constantly and still bring your A game. That's where the whole
Tough.
toughness comes in. So the gym, the gym builds up to that. So the goal for that is to be so physically good, to be so physically. I actually got this from my trainer, and he said, his name was Baloo, and he's awesome. And he made a statement to me that like he hit me from like that statement was something that I hold on to and I will hold on to forever. And he said that most people, right, would say Navy SEAL, right? Those guys are the toughest of the toughest, you know.
Hmm.
So it's like you're trying to climb this mountain and there's a Navy SEAL, right? And you're like, man, this man is so mentally tough, you know, this mountain is hard and everything. He said no. The ability to physically be able to maintain intensity for a long period of time before you could now start using your mental capabilities is what makes them special. So in the sense of you are here now, and let's say we're both trying to run a race, right? A marathon, right? We're moving at the same pace, right? You get tired and then you start using your mental toughness. and now you're starting to use your mental toughness, right? But I am so physically prepared that I don't have to use my mental toughness until later on.
mm,
That's what separates the gym and the outdoor. And that's something that makes them come together. That's what makes them, that's what unifies them. So that we could be able to be physically good enough that now once we now go to the outdoor to get our mental toughness right, we're training both. We're physically good and now we're mentally good. So that by the time we get to the fourth quarter and we're tired, we know that okay, now we're physically stronger and better, and we have more endurance than the person that's lying before in front of us. Now they're probably using that mental strength, but we're not. We're still using our physical strength. So, but by the time we keep on going and keep on going, and now by the time we're using our physical abilities, they by the time we're using our mental abilities, sorry, they are already out. They're already in the zero, and that's the goal. And that's exactly why like it's important to be able to be able to put both.
so much. So that's the best of both worlds. Will definitely take you
Yes.
down the whole 9 yards. Wow.
Yeah.
Oh boy, that's a real good way to look at it. Wow, I never really thought about it. I'm a gym rat, so it's time to
Yeah.
put in some of those sessions on outside as well, just to build
Yeah.
that mental resilience.
Mental resilience. Yeah.
Awesome. All right, so let's take this home. So finally, if you had to sum it all up,
Hmm.
um, in your journey so far, what does hard work really look like when no one is watching?
It's just is it very boring. It's very boring, and it becomes enjoyable over time. It becomes a way of life. Um, from the extra recoveries to the doing the little things right to the working out, getting extra work in, getting your techniques, fine tuned and getting it better.
Yeah.
You know, it's not easy, but it's enjoyable in the long run. I mean, like I had a coach, Coach Grubb, and he always says that it's not enjoyable until you get to the finish line, and then you're like,
Mm,
I love it. It's wonderful. So the goal is, of course, to get that confetti dropped on me. Like being able to see the confetti, and every time I work hard when no one is watching, is because I stay focused so that by the end of the day, I'll feel that confetti dropping on me, and I'll be excited that I did all the work and I did every work and I did my best. And I know that I deserve to have a place that the confetti is dropping, and that's just the goal, and also just for preparation, being able to be prepared
mm,
for to stop being me from being anxious, because it all relies on preparation. And me being able to say I've prepared to come here is that matters a lot, and that's why I work whenever no one's watching and everything, just being able to work because it's all part of the preparation.
awesome, awesome. So preparation builds that resilience. Work out, indoor, outdoor, consistency. These
Hmm.
are words we hear almost every time. So yeah. In closing, if your younger self was listening right now, like right now, what message would you leave him with?
Um, I would say just
Mm,
keep going, and take each step with your whole mind and your whole might. And what I mean is being able to attack, basically run, like basically sprint with the distance unknown. Don't don't hold back nothing and just give it your all for every step. And that's exactly what I'll tell my young self, because just keep on going and keep on attacking it with everything you have. That's the major way to push forward.
Mm. Awesome. Awesome. I knew this would be a great session. I did mention that to the viewers as well. Thank you so much. And I did say that I was going to let you in on why I decided to have this session with you. So I recently started this whole coaching clinic with a team of awesome young guys. So we we train fundamentals, basketball fundamentals, to young kids. So this will be a session I
Hmm.
will definitely share with their parents so they can watch and learn. A whole bunch of them are beginning to think they are not making progress, but we see those progress. It's just incremental in little
Yeah,
droplets. So it's time to build on what they have at the moment and keep trusting the process and keep building and keep fighting it through. And that's a beautiful way to close this out. So
yeah,
just before you go, do you we always have this section to we open this section out to our guests to share their handles, name handles, if there's a project you're working on that you want people to know about, if you would want to share your team name, their socials so that people can follow you, watch your games, and yes, you have the floor. Feel free. What would you want to share today?
yes. Arkel underscore official is my Instagram. ARKAL underscore official. That's my Instagram. I play for Northwestern, so you could go follow them. Yeah, and I'm very much excited about the season. It should be a great one for us. And yeah, I mean, now it's just get to work and keep my head down. So it's follow those and see the
See
progress
the
as we go.
progress. Awesome. So when does the season kick off?
It should be around September, August,
Awesome.
September.
August, September. All right.
That's around the time. So we have a enough time for
Time for
preparation,
preparation also. So we will be looking out and
sir.
following your progress, and just wishing you the very best. Have an amazing season. That confetti will definitely be on will be presented to you and at the right time. And
Yep.
congratulations in advance as well. Have a very great illustrious career as well. We're definitely rooting for you.
Thank you.
Yes,
Yes,
100%.
sir.
Thank
Thank you
you
so
very much.
much.
All
I
right, thanks
appreciate you.
again. Yeah,
All right.
take care. Have a good day, and stay warm.
Thank you.
It's still snowing out
Yep.
here. 100%. All right, thanks, man.